You might be getting rich right now and you do not even realize it. In this video, I am going to share the signs of becoming wealthy so you can check them against your own life. A few months ago on this channel, I made a video about how to spot a stealth wealth millionaire. That video was all about decoding other people, but today we are going to flip the script. We are talking about your daily habits and behaviors that tell me you are quietly building a fortune, even if it does not feel like it yet. The first sign that I see in people who are quietly becoming wealthy is that you are a long-term player who refuses to compromise for short-term gains. One of my favorite thinkers is Naval Ravikant. In his many discussions on building wealth, he says that if you play the long game, you will win. All the real rewards in life come from compound interest. It comes from the length and strength of your relationships. Look at the PayPal mafia and how they kept compounding together to start new companies. The same applies to your marriage or your career. The longer you stay, the better it gets. Warren Buffett is the richest man in the world because he stopped spending and started reinvesting decades ago. He let his wealth compound in long-term holdings. If that resonates with you, it is a massive sign of future financial success. If you want a real-world example of this, look at how you handle small desires. Suppose you want something that costs $50 or even $500. How long do you wait before actually pulling the trigger? Many wealthy people will research a purchase for months. They might wait for a perfect discount or eventually realize they did not even need the item in the first place. If you have the habit of delaying a purchase, it means you have mastered delayed gratification. This means you are a long-term person in both your spending and your investing. This single concept will make you incredibly rich in the future. You must learn to trade a small, immediate pleasure today for a much larger financial freedom tomorrow. Building wealth is a long, slow, and often invisible process. Most of the signs we will talk about today show you are on the right track, even if your bank balance has not caught up to your actions yet. The second sign is that you are earning more money, but you have zero desire to spend it. Most people get a raise and immediately upgrade their lifestyle because they can afford it. This is natural human behavior. The more resources you have, the more you use. It is like being in school with 2 weeks to write a paper. You will usually take the full 2 weeks, even if the work only requires a few hours. You expand to fill the available resources. This behavior ruins people financially. If you earn $60,000 and spend $55,000, you save $5,000 a year. Then you get a promotion to $80,000. Most people subconsciously increase their spending to $75,000. They think they are fine because they are still saving that same $5,000. But what if you kept your lifestyle exactly the same? You would be saving $20,000 a year instead. That shift changes your entire financial destiny. In the long run, your savings rate is a much more important metric than your investment returns. The wealthy people I know do not see a higher salary as an excuse to buy a better car. They see it as a way to increase the gap between what they make and what they spend. If you do not feel the itch to spend more when you make more, you are going to be wealthy. The third sign is that you do not have a car loan. Maybe you drive a reliable car that is 5 or 10 years old and it is completely paid off. Or maybe you drive a luxury car but you paid for it in full. If you understand that spending $700 a month to finance a depreciating asset is a terrible investment. You are winning. If you save that $700 every month, you have $8,400 a year to invest over 10 years with compound interest. That could grow to over $100,000. Around 40% of Americans are burdened with heavy car loans with an average monthly payment of $767. If you do not have that debt, you have significantly more disposable income than the average person. If you do have a car, a good sign is owning one where the massive initial depreciation has already happened. Cars have a depreciation curve, and after 5 years, that curve flattens out significantly. Buying a used car with 30,000 miles that is 3 to 5 years old is a brilliant financial move. If you treat a car as just a tool to get from point A to point B, you are quietly becoming wealthy. The fourth sign is that you have mastered the art of living below your means. This means your expenses are always lower than your income. Creating and widening the gap between income and expenses is the core of wealth building. You can do this in 2 ways. You can cut your expenses drastically, or you can increase your income. To cut expenses, I suggest looking at your last 3 months of spending and categorizing every dollar. Just doing this exercise usually reveals where you are wasting money. Once you find the leaks, you can plug them. You need to track the gap between your income and your spending every single month. If that gap is growing or staying steady, you are getting rich. Increasing your income is often more powerful than cutting costs. Data shows that 66% of households earning over $100,000 live below their means, while less than 40% of those earning under $50,000 can do the same. It is easier to save when you earn more. Increasing income might mean changing jobs or developing a rare skill. The point is to record the gap. If you live below your means consistently, you are on the right path. The fifth sign is that you have started to value your time more than material possessions. When you reach a point where you feel your time is more valuable than a physical asset, you start buying back your time. Most people want to buy things they can show off because they think those things prove they are doing well. When we are young, we want the new car or the big house for the status. But real wealth is the ability to say no to things you do not want to do. It is doing something because you want to do it, not because you have to pay the bills. This might mean paying $150 every 2 weeks for someone to clean your house. If that saves you 4 hours that you can use to earn more money or just relax and be more creative. It is a win. If you measure your time in dollars and protect it fiercely, you are getting wealthy. The sixth sign is that you have stopped comparing yourself to others. In finance, we call this keeping up with the Joneses. It is the most destructive thing you can do to your net worth. The moment you compare your bank account to your neighbor or some stranger on social media, you lose focus. You are comparing your behind-the-scenes footage to their highlight reel. That new car they have might be a lease that takes up 50% of their income. You never know the truth, and more importantly, it does not matter. If you are quietly getting rich, you probably do not care what anyone else is doing. When you stop caring about outside opinions, you stop paying the vanity tax. The seventh sign is that you have stopped showing off your money. The people who talk the loudest about their wealth usually have the least amount of actual cash. People love to post about their raises or their new purchases because part of the joy comes from the envy of others. If you eat a $1,000 meal but nobody knows about it, did it even happen? For some, social validation is the primary reason for the purchase. This is why people take photos in front of the Eiffel Tower or post endless videos at concerts. Truly wealthy people are often low profile. They do not hide. They just do not feel the need to prove anything to anyone. This applies to your income too. People who brag about their salary are usually making money their entire identity. If you are getting rich, you care about your net worth, not just your paycheck. Net worth reflects your habits, not just your luck. If you find yourself talking less about money, it is a sign of maturity and progress. The eighth sign is that the things that used to feel like sacrifices do not feel that way anymore. When you start, every dollar saved feels like a loss. Maybe you bring your lunch to work and it does not taste as good as the sandwich shop. You feel like you are missing out, but over time, that feeling disappears. This is my favorite sign of progress. The things that felt like a burden in your early 20s become your preference later on. Staying home on a Friday night to play video games might have caused FOMO when you were 22, but at 27, it feels like a luxury. Maxing out your Roth IRA does not feel like locking money away. It feels like buying a better future. As your identity shifts from a consumer to an investor, your values change. When discipline becomes a habit, the sacrifice vanishes. Bringing your lunch or skipping the expensive coffee becomes normal and you do not feel deprived. The ninth sign is that you do not panic when the market goes down. If you stay in the financial world long enough, you realize that markets are volatile. When the news is negative and your group chats are screaming about losing money, your mindset matters. People who lack discipline sell at the bottom and turn a temporary loss into a permanent one. Unless you are retiring tomorrow, staying in the market is almost always better than trying to time it. Markets have survived the 1987 crash, 9/11s, and the pandemic, and they always trend upward over the long term. A wise investor sees a crash as a clearance sale. If you can stay calm while everyone else is losing their minds, you have the psychological foundation for real wealth. Trusting the process and the data is exactly what you need. If you enjoyed this video, leave a comment and check out my other video about how to grow your net worth from $0 to $100,000. I think you will love that one. If not, I will see you in the next one. Thanks for watching and take care. Number finance, number wealth, number investing, number passive income, number mindset.